Can this by-the-numbers Oscar contender compete in one of the stormiest years yet? You're watching Beyond the Trailers review of Captain Phillips.
Hey!
Look at me.
Sure.
Look at me. I'm the captain now.
1 minute, I kill all your friends. 1 minute.
You come with us, or I'll get everybody!
Hey, don't get in there!
Gotta get him off the ship!
Not like this!
Captain Richard Phillips is a real man. In fact, the second one that Tom Hanks will bring to life on the silver screen this year, along with Walt Disney. Academy voters love it when you play real people. And Phillips has weathered two storms. First being taken captive by Somali pirates and then being swept up in America's starving media culture. After making the rounds on the competitive talk show circuits and 24-hour news cycles, Hyperion Books partnered him with writer Stephen Talty to tell his tale on the page. Then, as is often the case, Columbia Pictures bought not just the rights to Phillips' book before it was even published, but his life rights as well. Mega producer Scott Rudin signed on, producing once again with his The Social Network team of Michael DeLuca, Dana Brunetti, and Kevin Spacey. Then, Oscar darling Tom Hanks signed on to star, as did Bourne Supremacy and Bourne Ultimatum director Paul Greengrass, who depicted an even more delicate real-life scenario with the September 11th movie United 93. In fact, the only weak point here is the screenwriter, as Billy Ray's resume of The Hunger Games, State of Play, and Flight Plan is underwhelming. But while Captain Phillips might seem like a hot box office and Oscar contender on paper, so did last year's Flight, featuring another movie star in the center of a gripping modern-day disaster. Flight even closed the 2012 New York Film Festival, while Captain Phillips opens it this year. Yet Flight walked away empty-handed at the Oscars and the Golden Globes, plus was unable to crack the important century mark stateside at the box office. And Tom Hanks hasn't had a film top 40 million stateside since 2009's Angels and Demons. Furthermore, while Captain Phillips has some mild buzz so far, there is some concern that it makes the Somali pirates sympathetic, which maybe it should. We'll never know for sure, as no pirates got a book deal. But Phillips did, and even if nobody sees the movie that's based on it, at least he not only can smile about his life-threatening ordeal, but cash in on it. Perhaps someone should make a movie about that. 90% of Captain Phillips is pure Paul Greengrass, which means a film that feels almost like a documentary, with some really exhilarating, amazing action sequences, mixed with some slow, boring scenes that kind of tend to drag the whole movie down. However, at the end of the film, Tom Hanks has this one scene, and you'll know it when you see it, that just comes out of nowhere and is just blindsided me as a moviegoer, that is so emotional and so raw that it just elevates Captain Phillips from a really good History Channel special to Oscar-worthy material. And I had the chance to be on the red carpet for Captain Phillips at the New York Film Festival, which had opened, as I mentioned here earlier, and I talked to Hanks, and he mentioned that scene was actually improvised, that he'd improvised it on the ship. And it makes the scene even more amazing, in my opinion, because it shows that while Hanks is famous for playing a regular, ordinary guy, and he seems like a regular, ordinary guy in real life, a great one, but just, a regular guy, underneath it all, he really is an extraordinary artist. And he is worthy of the Oscars that he has, the multiple Oscars that he has. He'd be worthy of an Oscar nomination here. And he's worthy of whatever his paycheck was, because this is a great example of a professional actor who is able to come on board a film and bring something to it that the director and the screenwriter didn't think of. So that alone makes the film worth seeing, in my opinion. It's just truly phenomenal. But beyond Hanks's performance, the film does make you think. And it is nice to see, and very interesting to see, the shipping industry be in the spotlight, because the shipping industry is responsible for transporting most goods in the world, but it gets very little attention in the public. However, that said, though, I do feel that the film could have been a little bit stronger thematically. It has a very interesting message, and that's that you have two ordinary guys on different sides of the world who are set on a collision course by the bigger powers that be, that they have no control over and that they're not incredibly important to. And I thought that was great, but it was very, very subtle in the film, and I think a different director and a different screenwriter maybe could have done a little bit something more with that. But the film is very well acted, not just by Hanks, but across the board, and I think this is an important message, and I feel it does have some great action sequences, really spectacular ones, as you would expect from Paul Greengrass. And the military, once again, delivers to Hollywood. They do a really great job, and I'm continued to be impressed by the military's prowess and what they can accomplish. So very strong film. I definitely think that you should see it at some point, but I wouldn't put it at the very top of your list. I think it's not a perfect film, but it's not to be missed. So see it at some point. All right, so that's my review of Captain Phillips. Write your thoughts down below if you've seen the film, and be sure to check out these other episodes right now.